There's this concept of like the Lord put us on earth and he says like, go and take dominion and go and conquer, right? Like go and build and grow and create. And like he built me a certain way. And so I have this natural inclination. I want to go and be creative in the business world.
Build
That's where I'm
things
most
and
alive.
create
And
and
yeah, absolutely. And that's where actually a lot of my I think ministry is like connections with other business leaders that ends up turning towards like God conversations. And then they decide to follow Jesus and like have this massive impact because they're leaders on all of these people and their employees. Like I love that. But at the same time, it's like you're battling with mammon, like that the idea of like giving your heart to money versus giving your heart to God. Like you can't serve two
could
gods.
you explain mammon
I think
and
maybe we've talked
how,
about it on one
well, maybe
before, but I'll hit it again. Yeah.
people don't know.
So it's like the idea of a spirit of this world that is trying to capture people's hearts. And you could call it greed or the love of money really, but it's this idea that like we can serve one of two masters. And there's a scripture, but we won't get into that one today because we have other ones. But our hearts, like we're geared towards serving a master, and like one has to have priority over the other. And you can go and serve mammon, which is just the love of money, trying to build and grow above all else, like even God,
Mhm.
right? Where money is like the top priority in your life. Or you can allow money just to be a tool that God uses too, and that we can use, and you give your heart fully to God, right? So like I'm in this one. And if we're gonna be in this camp where we're saying like our hearts are fully God's and that we're gonna serve him over the master of money or mammon, which is that the spiritual like it's almost like the how do I say it? Help me out here.
I don't
It's
know.
called out in the verse. I don't know if I should have gone there without
Um,
having that one more specifically, but it's the spiritual realms, almost like evil stronghold that's all about money that captures people's hearts. So that way people give their heart towards building and growing money instead of pursuing the Lord with their heart. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Am I landing?
I think so. And kind of what you were saying at the beginning of saying like being all in with, building God's kingdom along
Mhm.
the way rather than just you've built this great business, whatever, and wealth and legacy here on earth. And you were a fan of Jesus along the way, or you were
Right.
a Christian along the way and check the boxes. Um, because there is just this, I mean, there are so many scriptures in the Bible about money and about the love of money, about it being harder to enter the kingdom for the rich man. A rich man,
Like,
there's just a lot of scriptures about that speak to, if you were to dive into all of those scriptures, it speaks to that warring spirit of mammon that wants your heart.
yeah, it's like a
And it's
spiritual
just
battle.
it's a heart
Totally.
posture thing.
It's a spiritual battle and it's like one or the other. And I'm not
And you
here.
could be building the same exact thing, just in a totally different heart posture,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm not here to like judge people or what they're choosing. Like it's like you do you. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like we are choosing to be building with God, like the kingdom of heaven over our own little kingdom here. And that's just what we want to do. That's who we want to run with, right? So like I totally don't. Again, I have massive respect for a lot of the successful entrepreneurs and what they're able to build.
And you
I
get
enjoy
a
their
lot of, like,
products. It's
even
like really
wisdom
cool.
from them.
Yeah, and there's lots of wisdom that they
It's
have, but like
but
this,
there's a difference in how you manage anxiety. So
mhm,
bringing it back to, like, what our topic is right now,
yeah,
managing business owner anxiety, there's just a difference in that one camp set, or maybe I won't say one camp, sounds like versus each other, but one way is to outwork your anxiety.
right, right.
And, that is just that's not what has held our family together.
Well,
And
and
that's
so I want to add in that too, because there's arguments to like every side of this, but like in Proverbs, it talks about the ants like preparing and like working hard
yes.
compared to like the lazy person. So I'm not saying be lazy. Like
No.
I work really hard, and there's lots of people out there that are working really hard, but it's like it's subtle. It's like it's a heart posture, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, um, at some point you have to hang up the towel and go prioritize other things, and you have to.
Because there's always more that you could be
There's
doing.
always more that you
You
can be doing.
can be growing at all times. especially in business where there's no cap, there's no ceiling of like, okay, I've reached the
Hmm.
top. When there's never a top, it's you could always be making more progress, be
Hmm.
climbing more,
Which is probably one
expanding,
of the things that makes it
growing.
so fun,
I know,
right? You can be
especially
creative
strategy and
and you can measure more growth, and so that's one of the really cool and fun and incredible things that I'm super thankful for about living in America and be able to pursue growth and build something. Like it's awesome.
yeah,
But I think like what it all boils down, like at the end of the day, one has to be a higher priority than the other. Like, is
yeah.
money more important or is the Lord more important? And everything that goes with that. And
And I would say that that's challenging, even as a Christian business owner, where you could be saying, "Well, money's not more important," but it's a little twist. It's like sly. But my employees need a paycheck, so
totally,
there's responsibility that comes in with
totally,
that too. Um, but at the end of the day, and you will, like, especially startups and everything, like, you are going to encounter crisis
yeah.
and hangups and things taking
So
longer and unexpected things. So then how do you deal with that anxiety?